What's up, y'all? I'm Jacob Mayfield. I am a senior at Lake Dallas High School, and my job today is to break down Psalm 16. Really quick, we're just going to talk about a few things. The situation is clearly not ideal, but there are a few highlights that can be found. For example, hanging out with my family has never been easier, and it's good to just relax and sit back and not have to do as much schoolwork. So if you have not read the passage over the course of the week, go stop listening to me, go read it, shame on you, and then come back, and then we're going to talk about it. Really quick, I'm going to read the ESV version. Preserve me, O God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, you are my Lord, and I have no good apart from you. As for the saints in the land, they are the excellent ones in whom is all my delight. The sorrows of those who run after another God shall multiply. Their drink offerings of blood I will not pour out or take their names on my lips. The Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. You hold my lot. The lions have fallen for me in pleasant places. Indeed, I have a beautiful inheritance. I bless the Lord who gives me his counsel. In the night also my heart instructs me. I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be shaken. Therefore my heart is glad, and my whole being rejoices. My flesh also dwells secure. For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So basically the first 5 verses I'm going to dive into on a topical level, and they all in some way point to the goodness of God. This psalm specifically is known as a psalm of praise to the Lord. So if I go in the verse by verse basis, verse 1 says, preserve me, O God, for in you I take refuge. It's saying, because I trust you, preserve me because you're great. You're able to save me from, well, in this situation, David is running away from Saul, but in all situations, God is able to save you and protect you. In verse 2, I say to the Lord, you are my Lord, and I have no good apart from you. And once again, David comes straight out and says, God is great, I have no good apart from you. As for the saints in the land, they are the excellent ones in whom is all my delight. This specific verse talks about different believers, the community of faith in his area, and how the saints, the people that follow God, are David's people who he chooses to associate with. In verse 4, it goes the opposite direction and talks about other little g gods. The sorrows of those who run after another god shall multiply. Their drink offerings of blood I will not pour out or take their names on my lips. So the first half, he says, those who run after another god, their lives are going to be terrible. Their sorrows shall multiply. And that second half of that verse, he says, I'm not even going to name these other gods because they're inconsequential before the name in the face of God. And in verse 5, it says, the Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. You hold my lot. You hold my lot is basically saying that God has everything. He is in control, and God is who he chooses to trust. Towards the end of the psalm, verses 9 through 11, David says, therefore my heart is glad, and my whole being rejoices. My flesh also dwells secure. For you will not abandon my soul to Sheol, or let your Holy One see corruption. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy. At your right hand there are pleasures forevermore. And that last little phrase, at your right hand there are pleasures forevermore, really just underlines the entire purpose of this passage, which is just to give glory to God and say that in you life can be found. Thank you all so much and have a great week.